What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be reviewing this 1996 Toyota Tacoma LX. So I'll start out by walking around it here. So the Toyota Tacoma was made as a replacement for the Toyota pickup, and this first generation here started in 1995 and a half and went till 2004. This one right here is a 1996, like I said, so it's a pretty early one. So this one is finished in evergreen pearl, is what the color's called. It's hard to see, and sorry for all the noise, but it's hard to see with no sunlight, but it is a really neat, like, blue-greenish color, and it looks really good. This one was only available till 1998, so it's only available on the pretty early first-gen ones. You do have a nice locking gas cap. So you do have these standard 16-inch alloy wheels that come with this one. Just kind of the same ones you'll find on like the 4Runner of around the same years here. So this one is four-wheel drive. It does have manual locking hubs. Auto locking hubs, I believe, were an option, but this one's not equipped with it. You can see on the tailgate, got the Toyota logo, LX and V6 logos there. So this one does have the extra cab. These first generation ones, these very early ones, were only available in a regular cab or an extra cab, and this one does have a 6.5 foot bed with that extra cab. And later on in the generation, right around 2000, they started to offer a 4-door, like a crew cab variant. So it does have a single exit exhaust. You do have pinstriping along both sides to give it a little more character. It's starting to peel off. Of course, it's a pretty old truck. These are nice and rugged looking trucks, at least in my opinion. I think you do need a nice set of off-road tires. These are 31s, but you know, it just kind of completes the look of it, especially with four-wheel drive. So you do have manual mirrors on both sides, nothing fancy, just normal manual mirrors. Here's the antenna right here. So coming to the front, you do have these amber parking lights, and I'm not personally a big fan of these. Because the turn signals are down here in the bumper, and so, you know, I don't really see any point for it to be an amber parking light. Some people may like it, I don't know, but I'd prefer a clear cover one myself. So in the front here, this design throughout the first generation got facelifted a couple times. So the very early ones, I believe 95 to 97, had these recessed smaller headlights like this, and then like around 98 they changed to ones that were flush with the front, and then right around 2000 they changed the entire kind of front end look. It got a lot more angled, a lot more curvy looking. And you don't see too many of these old Tacomas like this one, you know, the really early ones driving around. Most of them are like shipped off to Mexico or just destroyed, so it's kind of neat to see a, you know, survivor. So here's the key. This is not the original one. The original one looks pretty much just like this, just has a Toyota logo on it. Just a really basic key. So now let's go ahead and get inside. So on the inside, it is a pretty basic interior, not many creature comforts or anything. You do have manual everything pretty much. Manual locks, windows, you know, manual seat controls. So it's a pretty basic interior, like I said. I mean, you do have these nice, pretty soft materials along the door panel. The armrest here is, you know, a little bit harder of a plastic, but then you have this nice tough cloth on the rest of it. Door handles right here. You have a little storage down there. So getting inside, you do have this nice soft steering wheel, pretty big size, and it's just the standard Toyota 2-spoke design you find on these old 90s Toyotas. Here's the horn. So we do have a cover on this one because, as you can see, it's starting to chip away at the top there. Power steering, of course, and you do have a tilting mechanism here. It's a tilt steering wheel, not telescoping though. So over here, I believe this is like an anti-theft thingy, I'm not real sure. You do have the gauge cluster brightening knob right there. Fuse box down here. You do have the hood latch release. So down here you do have these nice floor mats that say Tacoma in them. You do have this nice green trim around them on both the passenger and driver side. So here's the blinker and light stock here. Back there in the gauge cluster you have just very basic things, no tachometer even. Just got the temperature gauge, the speedometer with the odometer, and the fuel gauge. You can see we got a lot of miles on this one, talk about that later. So like I said, you don't even get a tachometer. and you don't have a trip odometer or anything like that, so pretty basic. Over here you got your wiper stock. There is no cruise control on this one. This one was not optioned with cruise control. Over here you have a digital clock. You have towing power right here. Hazards right there. AC vents, dual cup holders. These aren't really, just like in the 4Runner, these are just not in a good spot right over your AC controls. Not a big fan of those. AC controls right here, still works good in this old truck. You still have the standard Toyota radio in this one. Many people will switch these out for aftermarket head units, but this one works just fine, so we've kept it. CD player, cassette player, and all that. And then right here you have the parking brake lever. Also releases here if you just press it and turn. Ashtray down here, coin tray for us. Got a 12-volt outlet, a little more storage. Like I said, it's 4-wheel drive, and in order to put it in 4, like I said, it's got the manual locking hub, so you have to first put this into 4. A little light will come on in the dash, and then you have to get out and lock the hubs. Get more into the transmission later. So you do have these tough, durable cloth seats here. They are decently comfortable, not really on very long drives. I mean, like I said, it's all just manual controls. You don't have any lumbar support or any of that, so, you know, pretty basic, but they work. In the middle here, you can fit somebody not really comfortably at all. I mean, look at how small that is. And, you know, their groin area is going to be right where the transmission is, so it's kind of an uncomfortable seating spot, but it's doable. You can fold this down if you want an armrest. So the dash is kind of just, you know, a harder plastic. Got a glove box over here. It's, you know, it's kind of small, decent size though. Do have grab handles throughout the interior. Do just have a basic visor up here. You have a manual dimming rear view mirror. And you have a little mirror on the passenger visor. Again, just the same door panels over there. So the headliner is this nice vinyl material. Looks pretty high quality and it feels really nice to the touch. You have a dome light right here. I don't know what happened to this one. It's got a big hole in it. So if you fold the seats down, you can access the back. Like I said, this is the extra cab model. So I'm about 6'2", and as you can see, I'm touching the seat in front of me. So it is pretty tight back here. You're not going to want to put tall people back here. Just made for storing stuff or for small people. So it's just these bench seats back here, just little pads that fold up if you need more storage. You do have a little more, like you have access to your jack down here, stuff like that. And then you do have cup holders if you fold this up. And then if you really want to make everything look clean, you do provide areas to fold your seat belts up and everything. So it gives you a nice amount of room. You have a manual opening rear window. And then over here, with this little latch, you can slightly open the rear windows back here. A little airflow. So that's basically a rundown of the inside. And outside you do have coat hangers up there too. So, like I said, that's the rundown of the inside and outside. As for any aftermarket things done to this truck, it is a pretty stock truck. You just have this big toolbox back here. And then the trim pieces for this back window, I don't know if they were chrome or what color they were or whatever, but the owner did paint them black. It looks much cleaner, much better. And then finally, I'm not really sure what the percentage is, but it has been tinted, the windows on here, just a little bit darker. So other than that, it is a stock vehicle. Now let's go ahead and look at the mechanical parts of it. And to start, we're going to go ahead and pop the hood. So on the first generation Tacoma, there were 3 different engine options available. There was a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder, a 2.7 liter 4-cylinder, and then this 3.4 liter V6. This is a great engine. As you saw in there, it has 278,000 miles on it, and it's still running great. No major issues with it. Did have the valve cover gasket leak that pretty much all of these have, but you know, no major issues with it over that time. As you can see, I mean, it's got little rough spots that have to be patched and stuff, but it still runs nearly flawlessly. We do run Shell Rotella 15W40. It's a great oil. I run it in my 4Runner too, with the same engine. So this does make 190 horsepower and 220 pound-feet of torque, and that's not much by any means. But you know, this is a small truck, compact size pickup, so it's able to pull the weight around decently well. It's not like it's, unable to do it. So, you can imagine that the 4 cylinders would be even more underpowered because they only have like 150, 170 horsepower, something like that. But yeah, it's a great engine. Definitely one of Toyota's strong engines. It's known as their 5VZ FE, if I didn't mention that. So this one is hooked up to a 4-speed automatic. On these Tacomas, you could optionally get a 5-speed manual or the 4-speed automatic here. I believe this one's coded as their A340F, but it is, a pretty good transmission. Here's the shifter for it, just this long bent stick you find in a lot of these 90s Japanese cars. It's got the overdrive button on it, but it still works pretty good. It does kind of not really want to shift sometimes on cold mornings. It takes a while to shift, but it's a 4-speed, so gas mileage isn't the best, and especially when you can't see what RPMs you're at or anything, you're just kind of guessing because you don't have cruise control. I think the rated gas mileage is 1722, so not the best, but not the worst either. So it does have front disc brakes, rear drums. So the shocks on this thing are completely shot. We do have other ones sitting around, just need to be put on. But it's, like I said, a great truck. Overall, lasted us forever. This is one of our personal vehicles, and it's a phenomenal truck. So now that we've pretty much looked over everything here, let's go ahead and get into these sound clips and take it for a test drive. So the Tacoma hit 80 miles an hour on this straight here. It actually did better than I thought it would for having so many miles on it. But I will put a leaderboard at the end to show how it stacks up against the other cars I've reviewed, and I will continue doing this in the future. Okay, so here we are getting out onto kind of a main road. Get up to speed here. There's 50 miles an hour, so that was probably like not even half throttle. So I mean, it's not like underpowered or anything. I know that that engine, like I said, doesn't have much power, but it moves it around just fine because it is a small, lightweight truck. So as you kind of heard from getting up to speed there, the engine does kind of sound like it's straining itself. I think it's just because it's an old engine. It has 278,000 miles on it. So I mean, as you can hear, this is 50 miles an hour. There's mostly tire noise, and it's just because those tires are old. But you do get some wind noise. You get other noises and stuff, but it's not like it's not shaking around. It's not moving all around the road. It does drive pretty nice, actually. And it brakes just fine. It has, like I said, 2 front disc brakes and then rear drums. It all works fine. So the power steering feels good. It's not like too light or too heavy. Like the Tundra I reviewed, you could just drive that with a finger. It was so light. But this, has a decent enough feel for the road. It is pretty light, but that's what most people want for a daily driver. And this is a great daily driver. I mean, it's practical. It's super reliable. The only thing some people might not like is the gas mileage. I know that it's kind of like late to be doing a review like, do you want this as your daily? Because it's like 23 years old. But I mean, if anybody's interested in a truck like this, then they're great little trucks. I mean, the gas mileage I think is like 1722 from this V6, so it's not the best, but not the worst either. So not having a tachometer is kind of interesting. You don't know what gear you're in. You just kind of have to let the transmission do its thing and just hit the gas pedal and let the transmission do its thing. So of course, like all the handling characteristics, it doesn't really do good with all those. Here, this is a nice little bump. Maybe it'll show you how much it just bounces around. Yeah, it just sits there and bounces after you hit a bump. But anyway, like, you know, all the driving characteristics aren't really very good. I mean, it's just a little pickup truck. You do, something that's nice though, is you do feel like you're higher up than you really are. It does feel like it sits higher than it really does for being such a small truck. It's decently comfortable, like on, you know, going around town and stuff, or just shorter drives. And I would drive this thing probably more spiritedly around roads and stuff if there wasn't so much stuff wrong with it. Like the shocks are shot, the ball joints are shot, the tires are almost shot, the timing belt and water pump are like 50,000 miles overdue. So there's like a long list of things that need to be done with it. But, you know, that goes to show that even if they're not maintained quite like they should be, they'll still run great. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Bit of a rice or silicate.